Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmo TV here, aka GLorn33, and I'm back here with the Legit Shoot podcast, man. And this is very, very exciting because this is the first time we've done the Legit Shoot podcast in over a month. Because if you guys have not been following me on social media, following what's been going on with this YouTube channel, I was hacked last month, November 4th. And it's been well over a month. I finally got complete access back to my channel a couple days ago, and now I am back here with my podcast, back with the channel, giving you guys daily uploads, and happy to be back. This is my first Smackdown live review in well over a month, basically a month and a half. This is also my first WWE video in over a month and a half. And I know a lot of y'all want my thoughts on what's going on in WWE. I'm going to try to do the best I can, like I always do, to entertain you guys, but also educate you guys, give you guys my opinions and thoughts. And as always, if you guys disagree or you guys want to talk about it with me, you guys can always go down in the comment section and we could talk like that, or go on social media, stuff like that. Alright, I can't, as much as I want to be super energetic, because I'm excited, man, but I can't go live on Fridays. You know, I only go live on Mondays and Wednesdays and Sundays, but I can't go live with Smackdown reviews on Friday. You guys know that, because I have other people in my house on Fridays, and I just can't. But still, I get these Smackdown reviews too as I can. As always, guys, I want to thank you guys for all the love and support. I'm happy to be here, happy to be back. And yes, this is your Smackdown live review for December 6, 2019. We are about 1 week away from WWE TLC, the last pay-per-view for WWE in 2019. It's been a long year for WWE. Alright, there's been ups, there's been many downs, and this show tonight, there was a couple ups. Alright, there was a couple, but overall, this was a boring show. Outside of, Sasha Banks, outside of Bray Wyatt and The Miz, the show was pretty boring. Yes, I kind of found the Roman Reigns segment at the end of the show. It was not bad. It wasn't bad. Honestly, this is the way Roman Reigns should be booked. He should be booked. Alright. You want the fans to cheer Roman Reigns. You want to get Roman Reigns organic reactions. Do stuff like that. Roman Reigns, he had a backstage interview earlier tonight. I forgot the name of the lady, but it was short and to the point. Alright, he talked about what he had to do tonight against Corbin and Ziggler, all that, and he got right out of there quick. That's the way Roman is. We don't want to hear Roman going on these 5-10 minute monologues. No, because Roman, the guy needs bullet points. You need to tell him what he needs to get done. He goes out there, he makes his point, and be done with it. Alright, and then in the segment at the end of the show, you had Roman getting attacked by Corbin and Ziggler, getting embarrassed. You had him handcuffed, actually double handcuffed. You had him handcuffed. You then had his arms kind of like Jesus on the cross in a way. You had the handcuffs put behind the LED boards, and then you had him. They poured legit like 6 cans of dog food all over him and looked pretty disgusting. And the fans were booing, stuff like that. You want to get Roman Reigns organic reactions? You want the fans to cheer Roman Reigns? Do stuff like that, because it's going to make people actually sympathize with Roman, and they're going to make people want to see him beat the crap out of Ziggler and Corbin in the future. I'm not going to sit here and defend this Roman Reigns and Barry Corbin storyline. I'm not, because it's pure garbage. It is pure garbage. It's not interesting. It's easily one of the worst storylines on all of WWE television all year. Alright? But still, I sat there and laughed. I laughed at this Roman Reigns getting dog food all over him. Because in a way, it was kind of symbolic. Roman Reigns getting dog food poured all over him is symbolic of WWE Smackdown Live and WWE as a whole. Alright? Roman eating dog food, getting pour over dog food, is the perfect way to describe WWE for most of this year. Outside of NXT, Sasha Banks, and The Fiend, and a couple other things, WWE is dog shit. Let's be serious. WWE is dog crap. I'm just trying to be honest, man. You know, I hate people that go out here and defend this company. Like, for real, what is wrong with you guys? I sat back over the last month when I couldn't make videos, and I sat back and I looked and I saw everything people were saying. You know, when you're not allowed to make videos for a whole month, over a month, about a month and a half, when you're not allowed to make videos, man, it makes you pay more attention to other things. And I looked on social media, I looked, you know, in the comment section of other people's videos, other people's YouTube videos, man, and I could not believe some of the crap I was hearing and seeing. It was garbage. It was garbage, to be honest, you know. And people trying to defend this company, saying WWE had a great 2019, you know. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. All right, yes, they made money, you know, probably more money than they ever did because, you know, WWE sold its souls to the Saudi Arabian government and all these other things, and they signed the billion-dollar deal with Fox, all that. But look at the quality of the shows, especially with the main roster. Look at them. How many good Raw and SmackDown? I wish I could go back, but it would take too much time. You know, part of me wants to go back and just go through every single Raw, every single SmackDown, and then check to see which shows I actually enjoyed as a whole. You know, it's probably less than 10. Probably less than 10 when you combine both Raws and SmackDown. That's about 104 shows. I would probably predict that 10 or less of those shows I actually enjoyed as a whole. It's just me being honest. It's just me being honest. WWE did not have a great 2019 at all. All right, outside of a couple other things, this was a disappointing year, and WWE should be ashamed of themselves, honestly. All right, but I just wanted to give that little mini monologue to start off the pod, right there. But yes, once again, guys, welcome back to the Legit Truth Podcast. I am your host, as always, Fitzpunk TV, aka Jinglorn33. As always, man, follow me and follow me. The links to my social media are down in the description box down below. I love interacting with you guys. So we're going to be talking about SmackDown Live tonight. We're going to be going over the shows. And just to let you guys know, there's going to be a schedule change here on the channel. It's not really going to affect my WWE content as much, but it's going to affect some of the other content I put. I don't just post WWE. I post anime. I post gaming videos, vlogs, stuff like that. Because I have a lot of big things I want to do for this channel in 2020. I'm very excited about that. But we're going to get into SmackDown Live. Let me just make sure I have my notes all set and ready to go. Alright, so let's talk about. So basically the big thing that happened last week on SmackDown was the Daniel Bryan segment. Alright, and I liked how WWE followed this up this week. You know, they didn't waste no time. They showed last week's clip of what happened with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan bringing back the Yes Movement. All right, bring back the Yes Movement. And let me just put my phone on Do Not Disturb so I can finish. But Daniel Bryan bring back the Yes Movement. Finally, after all these years, going back to his roots of what brought him the most success in WWE. And then they showed what happened with Bray Wyatt. Alright, and Bray Wyatt last week, you know, the Fiend attacked him coming from under the ring, dragging Daniel Bryan under the ring, choking him up with the mandible claw, and then proceeding to rip the hair out of Daniel Bryan's head off the scalp. And, you know, they stated it, and Michael Cole in the commentary stated it, The Miz came out, and he was going to have an episode of The Miz TV with Daniel Bryan, but they said that Daniel Bryan had not been seen since what happened last week, so I liked how they followed up. Alright, this was actually one of the better opening segments we've seen on SmackDown Live all year to open the show. Alright, but Miz, you know, I love the intensity that the Miz brings, even though most of the time he's disappointing as a babyface. Lately, especially with him being involved in this Daniel Bryan Fiend storyline, he's been pretty damn good. Alright, also I liked what he did before that with Tommaso Ciampa, the night we had the NXT invasion on SmackDown. But back to what we were saying. So we see the Miz come, and he says how he's not friends with Daniel Bryan, you know, but he's concerned. Right? He cares, and the WWE universe also cares about Daniel Bryan. They care about the Yes Movement. They care about Daniel Bryan. And he has not been seen since what happened last week with Bray Wyatt, with The Fiend. And The Miz states that he will get to the bottom of it. He will find out what happened to Daniel Bryan. So after this, the Firefly Funhouse comes up. And the last couple weeks, the Firefly Funhouse episodes have been really entertaining. Alright, when the Firefly Funhouse first started, it was entertaining, but eventually it fell off. It fell off to me, I'll probably say, around right before Hell in a Cell, when we had, that disgusting ending with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. But it was a little bit before that. I think it was like United Clash of Champions. Remember when we had the Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman? Yeah, around there, Bray Wyatt was teasing how he was going to go after the winner of that match, Strowman or Rollins. And I think eventually we will get a Strowman-Wyatt feud. I've been hearing rumors that after they finish the storyline with Miz and Bryan, there's potential that Strowman could be the next opponent for Bray Wyatt. Because I guess they want to build towards Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So, I don't know about that, but it's coming. It's coming. Alright, I'm afraid that Roman's probably going to win the Royal Rumble this year, and that's going to lead us to having a Reigns versus Wyatt Universal title match at WrestleMania. That's what I'm worried about. But, if that happens, you guys know you heard it from your boy Fitz first. But back to what we were saying. So, in terms of what happened here with The Fiend and The Miz, Bray Wyatt comes up. And remember, you got to remember here, Bray Wyatt appeared as Mr. Rogers. He appeared here as Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt. Not the other Bray Wyatt that we know. But he was basically like, Miz, do you want to play with me? Alright, because he stated here that the plan was for Bryan and The Fiend to continue their feud at TLC. But The Fiend said after that that's probably not going to happen, especially after what happened last week with The Fiend attacking Bryan, pulling his hair out, And it's going to be very interesting to see where they go with this. Because you guys remember last week, The Fiend talked about, are promising to introduce the new face of the Firefly Funhouse. Some people thought that was the new custom Universal title belt that they unveiled for The Fiend. And remember, one thing that I saw, they're selling the belt for pre-order on the WWE shop. And it's selling it's selling for $6,000. $6,000, a complete ripoff. I don't care. Alright, I don't care how rich you are. You could be Tom Cruise and have billions and billions of dollars. I don't care how rich you are. There is no way in hell I would ever spend $6,000 on a championship belt. Yes, the custom belt looks amazing. It looks amazing, but it is nowhere close to being $6,000. When they originally announced it, alright, I thought, the belt would maybe sell for something like, I don't know, maybe like $900, maybe $1,000 at most. Alright, because there's people out there that would actually buy that belt. They'll buy expensive belts. I remember they released like an Undertaker replica belt a couple weeks ago, and people bought it to celebrate. I don't remember, it was Undertaker's 27th anniversary, something like that. I don't specifically remember. But they had him. But they had the $6,000 belt, and I was like, ridiculous. Like, no one's wasting their time buying a $6,000 belt. If you buy a $6,000 belt, then God rest your soul. All right, I don't care how rich you are. There's no way in hell I would ever buy a $6,000 championship belt. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So they were supposed to have The Fiend versus Bryan at TLC for the Universal title, but Wyatt said, "All right, Bryan. It looks like Bryan's not going to make it." I don't know when we're going to see Daniel Bryan again. None of us do. I thought, it would be more likely that we would see Bryan on the Firefly Funhouse tonight, but He's not. You know, I'm probably willing to bet that Dan Bryan was not even in the building. He wasn't in North Carolina tonight. He probably gave him the night off to sell this storyline. You know, I'm willing to bet, and I'm scared because Daniel Bryan looks amazing with, you know, the long hair and the beard. But I'm thinking that most likely next time we see Daniel Bryan, he's probably gonna be fully bald. He's gonna look like 2010 Daniel Bryan from NXT. Because if they didn't have him on TV tonight, they're really, you know, selling this Daniel Bryan makeover that the Fiend gave him. All right. And also another thing you gotta remember is the commentators talked about it. It's been a running gag. Everybody that the Fiend interacts with, you know, changes for the worse. You know, Finn Balor going back to NXT, turning heel. Seth Rollins, who, you know, is in tweener stage. He's, you know, it looks like he's going heel 1 second, and then another second he's going babyface. We don't know what's going on with him. And I know you guys want my thoughts on Seth Rollins, but I'll say that for this Monday's Raw review, so make sure you guys are here for that. But really, nothing special happened, you know, until Bray Wyatt said, "Oh, if you don't want to play with me, maybe I'll play with your family." He brings up a portrait of Miz, his wife Maurice, and their 2 daughters. All right, and you know, that's when it got interesting. I was like, oh, because you guys remember, some of you guys may not know this, but original plans had it for Miz to be the first opponent for Bray Wyatt, not Daniel Bryan. All right, somewhere around the line, they changed plans for Survivor Series, and yes, we got the better match with Bryan and Wyatt. Even though that's a WrestleMania feud in my opinion, I feel like they could have saved that for WrestleMania. But still, I'm not gonna complain. It was at Survivor Series. It was at one of the big 5 pay-per-views. Not gonna really complain there. But they had after they showed this picture of the Miz's family, Miz lost it. And you could see the emotion coming down his face. Very emotional. I like the way the Miz, you know, really brought the emotion out of his character. Really liked how they did that tonight. But I'll say this, afterwards we see the Miz backstage. We see the Miz backstage, and he's on the phone with his wife, Maurice, and he's talking about, take all the cautions, make sure you lock all the doors, close all the windows, etc. I'm getting my bags and I'm coming home right now. Because Miz, you know, being a father, being a husband, wants to make sure his family is safe. So right away, he leaves the arena, or he grabs his stuff to go get out of the arena. And as he's leaving the arena, Miz sees like a little door with red lighting. You know, I don't know if there was a sign on the door that said The Fiend or said Bray Wyatt on it. I didn't see. But he sees the red lighting and he enters the room. He looks in the room and suddenly, out of frame, he's looking at something. At first, I thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan. You know, like Daniel Bryan maybe locked up or unconscious, something like that. No, it was actually a table. And on that table, they had a picture of the same picture that they showed earlier, but instead Miz was on the picture. It was Bray Wyatt with Maurice and their 2 daughters, which I laughed at, and I was like, oh, I really like where they're going with this, really do. And okay, just let me put my computer in charge real quick so it doesn't die. But I at this point I'm like, oh, I'm liking where they're going with the story. I really do. But after that, we see later on in the show they announce that at the TLC pay-per-view that we're gonna get Bray Wyatt versus The Miz, and everyone's, you know, at first you would think, oh, that's not really interesting. Well, it is a little bit interesting, but you know, it's whatever. But we have to remember, Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, gave Miz a sister Abigail, and this was, if I believe I'm right on this, this was the first time that we've seen the Miz, not the Miz, or we've seen Bray Wyatt. I'm talking about Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt. First time we've seen Bray Wyatt not in the Firefly Funhouse. All right, this is the first time we've seen him not in the Firefly Funhouse. We've seen the Fiend not in the Firefly Funhouse tons of times. We've seen him attack everybody in the ring, under the ring, on the stage, in other parts of the arena. But every time we've seen Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, and like the sweater vest, the cargo pants, the khakis with the fancy shoes, this is the first time we've seen Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt outside of the Funhouse, and I loved it. I loved it. And they said in the graphic tonight, and I picked up on it right away, that it was Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt being advertised against The Miz for the Universal Championship. It was not The Fiend. Because anytime The Fiend has had a match, they've put The Fiend's logo, and they said Bray Wyatt The Fiend, or Bray the Fiend Wyatt, or something like, or Bray Wyatt The Fiend, something like that. But no, they just simply said it would be The Miz versus Bray Wyatt. Because The Fiend was not the guy that attacked Bray Wyatt. And I'm liking where they're going with this. Because it's like they're saying, oh, The Fiend's too busy playing with Daniel Bryan. He's too busy giving Daniel Bryan his own makeover. But Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers' version, he's turning his attention to The Miz. Alright, and Ribby Rabbit tonight in the Firefly Funhouse was like, today's word of the day is family, and then we see Mr. Rogers throw Ribby Rabbit down to the floor like, shut your mouth. But I really like what they did tonight. I'm very interested to see what's going to be like. They could change in the next couple of weeks to say it's The Fiend. Remember, TLC is just 9 days away. It's next week. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think at TLC we're going to get Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers' version, against The Miz. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they do that. Will The Miz's, or not The Miz, will Bray Wyatt's attack be different? Will his offense be different? How will Bray Wyatt act? Because we've never seen Bray Wyatt, as, or at least this version of Bray Wyatt, this current form of Bray Wyatt. We've never seen Mr. Rogers' version of Bray Wyatt in the ring. Alright, so it's going to be interesting to see how will he wrestle. Will he wrestle similar to The Fiend? I don't think so, because Bray Wyatt and The Fiend are two different entities in the same body. Split personality. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I like what they're doing with this. It's going to be interesting to see how The Miz responds. Is there a chance where we see the new face of the Firefly Funhouse, Daniel Bryan? Will he get involved in all this? I could definitely see that. Them doing something like that. I could see like maybe The Miz getting the upper hand on Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, but at the last moment we see the new Daniel Bryan appear. Alright, the possessed Daniel Bryan, the one being controlled by The Fiend. Maybe he appears and then that throws The Miz off, costing Miz the win and getting Bray Wyatt to successfully defend his Universal Championship. I love what they're doing right now with The Fiend. They're slowly building him back up the way he was supposed to be. Alright, and I'm liking what they're doing here. It's much more interesting now that it's not going to be The Fiend. It's like I said, The Fiend, he's off doing his own thing. He's off dealing with Daniel Bryan, giving him a makeover. Instead, Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers' version, is busy dealing with The Miz. So, Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, is dealing with The Miz, while The Fiend is dealing with Daniel Bryan. And I like that. And it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Alright? Will the story continue past TLC into the Royal Rumble? It's going to be very interesting, but I'm actually enjoying this. It's interesting. It's kind of creative, and I give WWE credit. I'm not going to give Vince credit because at the end of the day, I don't even think this is Vince. I think this has to be somebody else. Because if you look at some of the other crap we've seen on this show, and you wonder, there's no way Vince could book something that good with Bray Wyatt and then book the rest of the show. So that's just my thoughts on that. But after this, we had Dana Brooke. And, if you guys have not been following, one of the bigger storylines this week has been Dana Brooke is supposedly going to go on a dinner date with Batista. If you guys haven't noticed, it was actually trending on Twitter a couple of days ago. These two had some public interaction on Twitter, and now we're going to see Batista and Dana Brooke go on a date. This is not This doesn't have anything really to do with WWE. This is actually, between Brooke and Batista that they actually mentioned it tonight on SmackDown, and I hated this because it makes zero sense. Fox wants a sports like WWE product, right? So why are we getting crap like this? Why? No one wants to see this nonsense. No one wants to see this garbage on WWE television. But yet Fox wants a sports like product. So backstage in catering, alright? In catering, as JD would say, Titus O'Neil was making his world famous Christmas cookies and gingerbread men. Alright? But backstage we see Dana Brooke and we see Drake Maverick approach. And at first I was like, why the hell are they having Drake Maverick, hit on Dana Brooke? Isn't he married? It made no sense to me. It was actually pretty stupid. But Dana Brooke is like, yeah, I'm going on a dinner date with Dave Bautista. I don't have time for people like you. And then we see Elias appear, alright? And Elias takes a guitar and, he shaking his song. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good, even though I can't take Elias seriously because he's not that good in the ring. But at the end, he said something about being in bed with Drake Maverick's wife. And this led to Drake Maverick slapping Elias in the face. And then we see Drake Maverick come to the ring, and he talks about how him and Elias are going to fight because no one talks about my marriage, no one makes fun of my wife, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But yeah, Drake Maverick, if you really cared about your wife, right? Logically speaking, let's think logically about this. Drake, if you really cared about your wife, why are you flirting and trying to get with Dana Brooke? Makes perfect sense, right? WWE always trying to think we're stupid and, trying to insult our intelligence. But we see Dana Brooke and Elias come out, and Elias beats the crap out of Drake Maverick. And there was a part where Drake was getting spanked by Elias, and I was like, yeah, real great sports product, Fox. This is the stuff we want to see, really. If you wanted to do this Elias versus Drake Maverick crap, right, why couldn't you do that during commercial? Alright, do that for the live audience. Us watching at home, we want to see sports like product. We want to see wrestling. That's why we love NXT and AEW, because they're focused on wrestling and storytelling. I don't come to watch, someone getting spanked by another grown ass man. I don't want to see a grown man get spanked by another guy. Like what are we doing here? What are we doing here? It makes zero sense, and it actually just pisses me off thinking about it more and more. Anyway, we see afterwards, Elias then hits. Elias hits his finisher, Drift Away, on Drake, and then we see Dana Brooke comes in the ring, and then she puts her heel on Maverick's chest for the 1, 2, 3. It wasn't an official match, but it was just more mocking Drake Maverick. And it seems that WWE is, I was a little confused at first, but it seems like WWE is going with Elias as a babyface again. Alright. If you guys remember, I think it was early this year, very early this year. They tried Elias as a babyface, and it worked for the first couple weeks. And I thought they were gonna build Elias up for potentially a IC championship run, but it fell over very quick. And by the time WrestleMania came around, they turned Elias back into a heel, and then we had that segment with John Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, and yeah, Elias turned fully heel after that. And he hasn't went anywhere ever since. Then he was injured, and now he's back. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't care about Elias, but I don't care about Elias. I would like to care about him, but WWE doesn't know how to book him, and also he's not that really good in the ring. He's limited. Yes, he's had a couple good matches here and there, with Seth Rollins and etc., etc. But overall, he's not that good in the ring. He's really not. I want to get behind Elias, but WWE already told me they don't really showed me that they don't really have any plans for him, and I just don't think they're gonna do anything with him going forward. But that's just my thoughts. That's just my opinion. All right. But if WWE didn't do anything with Elias before, what's to tell me that they're gonna do anything with him now? Let's see. I'm willing to bet he'll probably be a heel again within 2-3 months. All right, he'll be right back where he was before, right back in get off my TV territory. All right, moving on. We had Mandy Rose versus Alexa Bliss. All right, you guys remember last week Alexa Bliss came back, making her return on SmackDown Live. She had been gone. I think it was around 2-3 months. You know, she was gone way before the draft. And this match sucked. Let's be serious, alright? You know, somebody backstage was really getting, hard to this because you know how WWE, you know how Vince loves his blondes, you know how Vince loves, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte and all them. And this match it sucked. Mandy Rose, the best part of this match was Mandy Rose, she ripped the fake eyelashes off of Alexa's face. Michael Cole trying to make it a big deal on commentary like it was Alexa's real eyelashes. Like, there's no way they would actually let Mandy Rose do that. It was her fake eyelashes from her makeup. And you can see, in the close-up, you can see how much time WWE actually spends putting makeup on these ladies. Like Charlotte and Alexa and Mandy. They spend 2 to 3 hours every single day just putting makeup on. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just like, I want to see women wrestling. I don't want to see women out there with 1,000 pounds of makeup on their face just so they can look good during an entrance. Like, please stop with that nonsense. But anyway, the match wasn't good at all. I'm sorry, but Alexa Bliss was gone for 3 months. You can't tell me that during that time she couldn't develop some new offense, some new moves. She posted on her Instagram, how she was at the gym, how she was at the Performance Center down in Florida. But it's not like you learned anything. I do remember last year, when me and my boy Moose were doing the podcast together. I remember last year that we talked about how Alexa Bliss, yeah, I remember. I ranted about this, actually. Alexa Bliss said in the interview as a heel that she's not going to do the certain moves she's not going to do because she's a heel. And I ranted. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Yes, your job as a heel is to, play a bad guy character, but that doesn't mean you don't give it your all. That doesn't mean you hold stuff back in your arsenal. No. Some of the greats, some of the best of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Randy Orton, the Kurt Angles, no matter if they were baby faces or heel, they would always bring new moves. Sasha Banks, the best female wrestler in the world, no matter if she's a baby face or a heel, she's always trying out new stuff. She's always coming with new moves in her arsenal. That's why she doesn't have many stale matches. Alright, that's why no matter who you put Sasha in the ring with, it's going to be a good match. Just for the sheer fact that she's always going to go that extra mile, no matter if it's a house show, a pay-per-view, a Raw, a Smackdown, etc., etc., etc. And I'm like, Alexa Bliss is a babyface now. She is clear-cut babyface. I remember we spent most of this year debating if Alexa was a heel, a face, a tweeter, because we couldn't get a gist of her. But Alexa Bliss is a clear-cut babyface now. Because Nikki Cross is a clear-cut babyface. If she wasn't with Nikki Cross, she would probably be a heel. But Alexa Bliss is a babyface now. That's confirmed after tonight. She was pandering to the crowd. She was acting like a babyface. And it feels weird to see Alexa as a babyface because we haven't seen Alexa as a face in years. Right? Since way back in her NXT days. Like, I'm talking about 2014, early 2015. It's been a while since we've seen Bliss as a babyface, and I'm not saying I can't get behind it. It's just her in-ring work is sloppy. She's good on the mic, right? We know Alexa Bliss can talk on the mic, but her arsenal, her offense is just so sloppy and slow and so limited. Sometimes she wrestles. Sometimes the moves she does is so generic. It's just, I like her Twisted Bliss finisher, but that's about it. And the thing is, I've met Alexa Bliss. She's one of the sweetest people you could ever meet. Alright, she is very nice, very humble. But still, her offense is not good. I'm not just because someone's nice in real life. I'm gonna tell it as it is. Her offense is not good. She is sloppy, and it's just not it. It's not it. How long? I'm telling you right now. We have Bailey and Sasha feuding with Lacey Evans. How long till we see Alexa Bliss back in the championship hunt? It's gonna happen sooner rather than later, guys. I just have to be honest with you guys. It's gonna happen sooner rather than later. I will not be surprised if at the Royal Rumble we see Bailey going up against Alexa Bliss. I'm praying that they don't do anything, because Bailey versus Sasha, that should be the plan. That should be what WWE should book towards at WrestleMania, and I think that's the direction they're going with. But we'll have to wait and see. But it is what it is. I'm not saying I can't get behind Alexa Bliss as a babyface, but her offense is so bad. All right, Alexa, you said in an interview years ago that as a heel, there's certain moves you can't do. Like, you're a babyface now. Show us what you got. Show us those moves you've been hiding in your arsenal. All right, show us that you're actually a good wrestler, and then show us so people like me can respect you and actually put you up there with the other great women's wrestlers in this company, like Rhea Ripley, like Sasha Banks, like Shayna Baszler, and etc., etc., etc. Alright, after this, we had a fatal four-way. We had a fatal four-way to determine the number one contenders for the tag team championships at TLC. Alright, the New Day are the champs right now. I want to say congratulations to the New Day, one podcaster to another. The New Day have their new podcast. It's a New Day, yes it is. You can find it wherever you get podcasting, Apple Music, Spotify. There's tons of places where you can listen to the New Day's podcast. I listened to it. It was pretty enjoyable, pretty entertaining to hear how the New Day got their start, how to hearing them tell different stories. I love the New Day, but this match was to determine the number one contenders for their tag team titles, and to me, there was only two really legit options. All right, no one cares about the Lucha House Party. All right, I know Kalisto's friends very close with my favorite Sasha Banks, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about the Lucha House Party. They're one of the most cringy-ish groups I've ever seen, and they're borderline get off my TV. I do not like Lucha House Party. We also had Mustafa Ali and Shorty G, Chad Gable, and I was thinking, how many partners has Chad Gable had over the years? All right, you had Jason Jordan, American Alpha. You had Bobby Roode. Now you have Mustafa Ali. I wouldn't be surprised if we're missing another. He had Shelton Benjamin. So this is like the fourth tag team partner Chad Gable has had in the last 3 years alone. Like, absolutely crazy how fast Chad Gable goes to tag team partners. But I don't really consider Ali and Gable a real tag team. They don't have an entrance. They're just friends who tag team with one another here and there. So I don't know. So I didn't really look at them as a threat. The other two teams were the Revival and Heavy Machinery, and you can tell this tells you that WWE needs more tag teams. The tag team division is probably the weakest parts of the main roster right now. WWE has broken up so many tag teams. There's injured tag teams. The Hardy Boys were supposed to be back, but we saw that we don't know if Jeff Hardy's ever going to return to the ring after his substance problems. Matt Hardy is walking and catering these days. They could use the Hardy Boys if Jeff could ever get his act together. The Usos, remember the Usos had their problems because Jimmy Uso was arrested a couple months ago, and WWE has not brought them back. It's also part of the reason why Naomi hasn't been seen in like forever. I don't remember the last match Naomi had on WWE television. The women's division could use a Naomi at this time. Won't be surprised. We'll probably see Naomi around the Royal Rumble. But the Usos, man, the Usos are one of the best tag teams in the world. The Usos are my favorite tag team in all of WWE, and I miss the Usos. I miss the Usos, man. I wish WWE would bring them back. because SmackDown could really use them, and the Hardy Boys. You also have Sheamus. Sheamus has been doing these promos lately, how the Celtic Warrior is back, and he's gonna ravage the land. Easily, Sheamus. I like Sheamus, but he's not gonna do anything. He's really not. He might be booked strongly for a couple of months, and then he'll probably just be fed to Roman Reigns, and then will fall back as one of the heroes that doesn't matter on this show. He's basically going to be SmackDown's version of Drew McIntyre. Alright? I see huge similarities between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. The way they talk, their personalities, they're both very good in the ring, world championship material if booked correctly, but they're just two big heels that have been fed the Roman Reigns, and those feuds killed their characters. But I'm just saying, Sheamus, Cesaro is not really doing much. Sheamus is back, right? Pair Sheamus back with Cesaro, reform the Bar. The Bar were a damn good tag team. They won the tag team championship how many times? 4 or 5 times. So pair them back together. I don't know how hard that is. That would the SmackDown tag team division could be great if imagine you added those 3 teams along with the New Day, Heavy Machinery, and Revival. That tag team division would probably rival NXT's. The tag team wrestling in general in WWE is not that strong these days at all, and the main roster and Vince have themselves to blame for that. But yeah, and Heavy Machinery and the Revival, they were the only 2 legit options. And the thing is, Revival, we've seen them versus the New Day how many times this year? The New Day just beat the Revival a couple weeks ago to win the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Revival beat the New Day at Clash of Champions for those titles? So they just basically it's been just the New Day and the Revival flipping the titles back and forth all fall long. So what, are you going to give the Revival the tag team championships again at TLC? Why? Because you're trying to get you're trying to get Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder to re-sign, because we've heard all the rumors that the Revival didn't re-sign with WWE. WWE offered them tons of money and 5-year deals with all these different incentives, and the Revival shut them down. If I was the Revival, I would shut those down. I would wait for my contract to expire and go over to the best tag team division, all wrestling, in AEW. Heavy Machinery, I love Heavy Machinery. I personally think, I would build Heavy Machinery up to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania from the New Day. I think that would be perfect. Alright, Heavy Machinery, they're popular. Everybody loves Otis. If you don't love Otis, you don't love life. Otis is what life should be. Fun and happiness and love. Alright? I love Otis. I love everything he does in the ring. He's a big sack of joy. And if you can't love Otis, you can't love Heavy Machinery, man, there's something seriously wrong with you. I think Heavy Machinery, they have so much potential. I think they should be built up to be the next tag team champions at WrestleMania. That's what I would do, personally. Alright? But getting into the match, this match, not much happened. It wasn't the match was okay for what it was. It was nothing special. You had the New Day on commentary. Heavy Machinery, they eliminated. It was a Fatal 4-Way elimination match. They deleted or eliminated Lucha House Party when Otis and Tuck hit the compactor. Yeah, the compactor finishing move. Later on, we see Scott Dawson. He rolled up Otis to pin him and eliminate Heavy Machinery, leaving the Revival and Ollie and Gable left in the ring. After they went on for a while, but then the Revival won the match by hitting the Shatter Machine on Chad Gable, giving them the win and making them the number 1 contenders at TLC. Then afterwards, the Revival, they cut a promo talking about how after they beat the New Day at TLC, no more unicorns, no more ponies, blah 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 this, blah 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 that. Nothing that we haven't already seen and heard from the Revival in the past. I love the Revival, but WWE's only pushing them just because they're trying to get them to sign. And if the Revival win the tag team titles again, I'm not gonna care, because it's just gonna be WWE flipping the titles back and forth between the New Day and the Revival. All right, and if the Revival win at TLC, won't be surprised if the New Day win the titles back just a couple weeks later. Honestly, I would like to see this in a ladder match. And, since it's TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs, I think you should do this match do it in a ladder match. I would love to see that. Make it interesting. Don't make it a normal tag team match, because we've seen the Revival and the New Day how many damn times this year, right? I would do it differently. Do it in a ladder match. Have the New Day successfully defend. That's the way I would do it. All right. Before we move on, I want to say congratulations to at WWE Lady Ref Jess. You saw her tonight, multiple segments. She is now she's the first full-time female referee on SmackDown Live. All right, so I want to say congratulations to her. That's a big thing, especially, we talk about this women's revolution. This is part of it. All right, WWE's first ever full-time female referee. That's big, and congratulations for her. So getting on with more from the women's division. And I want to say one more thing. Where's Shinsuke Nakamura? You had Sami Zayn debut that beautiful Intercontinental Championship. Probably the best looking title on the main roster right now. You had them debut that beautiful IC Championship. Even though I missed the white strap IC belt, but you had them debut that beautiful IC Championship belt a couple weeks before Survivor Series. And we haven't seen Shinsuke Nakamura since. Nakamura has no opponents for it. Even though SmackDown has a decent mid-card division, if they would, build people up. I don't know why. But I just noticed that. It's sad that they're not building up opponents for Shinsuke Nakamura. But we had Lacey Evans versus Haley Jones. All right, I don't know who the hell Haley Jones is. All right, I don't know where WWE gets their jobbers. I really don't. All right, but this was like a 2-minute match. Lacey Evans made short work of Haley Jones. Lacey hit her with the woman's right for the win. But right after the match, the boss, the best female wrestler in WWE. It's not Becky Lynch, folks. I love Becky Lynch, but she is overrated, in my opinion. She's overrated. Becky hasn't defended that belt since Clash of Champions. And after what happened with Survivor Series, if you guys follow me on social media, you guys know, even though I wasn't not able to do a Survivor Series review, you guys know my thoughts on that. Alright, the Survivor Series main event was very disappointing between Bayley, Shayna Baszler, and Becky Lynch. And I don't know why, because that's three of WWE's best competitors in their women's division. So I don't know why that match was so disappointing, but it was around there, man. Becky's overrated in my opinion. The way she's booked, I understand, yes, Becky went like 2 years not being booked properly on the main roster, but they have overbooked her a lot since the debut of the main character, and especially since Ronda left after Mania. Other than Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch has had absolutely no competition for the Raw Women's Championship. Think about it. Think about it for a sec. Alright? Think about it for a sec. And we'll get back to Sasha and Lacey in just a second. But I just want you guys to think about this. Becky Lynch has been Raw Women's Champion now for 8 months and counting. She won the title at the beginning of April at Mania. It's now December. Alright? So she's held the title for basically most of 2019. She's the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion of all time. But honestly, what's she done during her reign? As good as the man character is, and I love the passion she has in the mic, the passion she brings to the character, honestly, what has she done as champion outside of the 2 months she had with her amazing feud with Sasha? Other than the 2 great matches she had with Sasha at Clash of Champions and at Hell in a Cell, what has she done? She's done nothing. The Lacey Evans feud, they spent 3 months on that after Mania, and it was garbage. Becky versus Natalia was disappointing. The only reason why they did that was because Natalia's from Canada, and that's where SummerSlam was. You had the 2 great months of, the feud with Sasha. Sasha should have won the Raw Women's title right then and there. And Survivor Series, what she's done, nothing. She hasn't defended the title since, what was it? When was Hell in a Cell? Was it early October? Like late September? It's been well over 2 months now since Becky last defended that title. Yeah, Becky talks about elevating the women's division, but she hasn't done anything with that championship since WrestleMania outside of Sasha. As great as the main character is, and I love Becky Lynch, she's overrated. I'm telling you right now, if Sasha was in that position, it would not be the deal. It would not be that deep. It would not be like that. Just telling it as it is. But, yeah, moving on here. Sasha Banks came out, and I love the passion. I hate when people say that Sasha Banks can't talk on the mic. It pisses me off, because Sasha is good on the mic. She's actually great on the mic. It's just that people disappoint. People like to be racist and sexist, especially when it comes to Sasha. Because if Alexa Bliss comes out and says the promo that Sasha says, people are going to be saying, oh, promo of the year. But people always want to say Sasha, oh, she's not good on the mic. Yeah, get the hell out of here with that bullcrap. Please. What happened is Sasha hits the ring after the match. They go to commercial and then they come back. Sasha Banks, she warns Lacey Evans to stay out of her and Bayley's way. All right, but Lacey Evans, he had a decent promo tonight. Lacey Evans is now a babyface, which concerns me because she is a blonde, and we know how WWE books blondes. But she talked about how she was a former Marine. Sasha also said something about Lacey's 6-year-old daughter, and I was laughing. Lacey Evans said, if you say something, you ever say something about my daughter again. All right, you understand me? And then the crowd was actually chanting nasty at Sasha Banks. All right, so Sasha's good. That just shows you, because the fans love Sasha Banks. They love her. It's almost impossible to boo Sasha, But Sasha did a good job of making Lacey Evans look like a babyface tonight and getting the crowd to cheer Lacey Evans. But Lacey talked about basically how she was a Marine, and I love the Marine, but I'm sorry, you're just not going to get me to cheer for Lacey Evans, especially against Sasha Banks. There's no babyface in this company. There's nobody in this company in general that you could ever get me to cheer for against Sasha Banks. I'm sorry. I'm a Sasha diehard to the end. But it was a smart line by WWE to have WWE mention how Lacey Evans is a Marine, because it makes the crowd sympathize with her and want that's gonna make the crowd want to cheer Lacey more. I like that, and even I didn't know Lacey was a Marine, so I respect that, but it's not gonna get me to cheer her. I respect the Marines. I love the Marines. I have Marines in my own personal family. I respect everything they do for this country. But saying Lacey is a Marine is not gonna get me to cheer her, especially against Sasha Banks. I'm sorry, this is my opinion. But afterwards, Sasha said something about how, Sasha said she's the leader of the SmackDown Women's division, which she is. All right, but Lacey said that there's one thing she learned during her time in the Marines. She learned about leadership. Good line from her, and that if she wants to fight, we can fight right there and there. So Sasha gets in the ring, and she gets right up in Lacey's face. Looks like they're about to start duking it out. But Lacey threatens to hit Sasha with the woman's right. Woman's right is one of the most overrated finishers in all of WWE. But then Sasha yells and screams, and she falls down to the floor like all scared. And I didn't really like that, because I feel like, I don't want Sasha looking like a wimp, But afterwards, Lacey Evans walks out of the ring. Sasha's looking still, selling that she's, scared of the woman's right. but the crowd's cheering Lacey. But she walks up towards the top of the ramp, and then she gets blasted in the back by Bayley. And then Sasha comes up the ramp and kicks Lacey in the stomach. And as Lacey's on the floor in pain, we see Sasha and Bayley together. All right, but they're planting the seeds of the Sasha and Bayley feud. I think it's coming for WrestleMania, and we're finally gonna get to see the Sasha versus Bayley feud we've all been waiting for since their match of the decade at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. All right. But yeah, cause I'm trying to think about it. TLC is next week. It's the last pay-per-view of the year, so it's gonna be interesting to see, what happens there. I think Bayley versus Lacey will probably get announced for that pay-per-view. Bayley will probably successfully defend with Sasha at ringside, and then that's gonna lead us to the Royal Rumble. And I think right now for the Women's Royal Rumble, for the Men's Royal Rumble, it's most likely it's probably gonna be Roman Reigns, or Kevin Owens. Those are my two bets for the Men's Royal Rumble. And for the Women's Royal Rumble, it's either going to be Sasha Banks or Shayna Baszler. Because I think Shayna's going to drop the NXT Women's Championship on December 18th on the show, the NXT show against Rhea Ripley. I think we're going to see Rhea Ripley finally become NXT Women's Champion. And then we'll see Shayna Baszler enter the Women's Royal Rumble. And then it'll come down to either Sasha, Charlotte, or Baszler. One of those three. Most likely Sasha. But one of those three will win the Women's Royal Rumble. All right, and that's gonna lead to us getting Sasha versus Bayley at Mania, probably Becky versus Shayna at Mania, and they'll probably have some legend come out of retirement. Somebody like Beth Phoenix will come out of retirement to face Charlotte. I'm willing to bet. But anyway, yeah. So I liked, even though I didn't like how Sasha looked like a little bit of wimp there. They got Sasha's heel momentum back by having Bayley attack her. But definitely, the Sasha versus Bayley thing, because we know eventually it's going to happen. Bayley's going to turn on Sasha, forcing Sasha back into a babyface, leading towards their match at WrestleMania. It's going to happen. Get ready, guys. It's going to happen. But for us to get out of here, Roman Reigns versus Dolph Ziggler. I don't have much to say about this because, like I said, I tweeted this. I don't care about this Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin storyline. We're supposed to have a Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. It was announced tonight that other than The Miz versus Bray Wyatt, which we already discussed earlier in the podcast, we're getting Reigns versus Corbin in a TLC match. I still don't know what they're fighting for because usually a TLC match is for a championship. All right, I would be surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised if they announced like Miz versus Bray Wyatt to be in a TLC match where the winner has to use tables, ladders, and chairs to crush their opponent, and then climb a ladder to obtain the Universal Championship. That's the way they usually do it. But instead they're having Reigns versus Corbin. But what are they fighting for? Or what? Are they gonna put Corbin's spear, right? Are they gonna put like a Corbin's spear or a special object at the top for Corbin and Roman to grab a ladder to beat their opponent with a weapon? Like, I don't know what they're doing here. I don't care about this feud at all. Like, yes, I was a little bit interested in seeing Roman get handcuffed and then absolutely humiliated with the dog food being poured all over him. But either way, man, it's just not interesting. It really isn't at the end of the day. I'm just being honest and I'm telling it as it is. Seeing Roman Reigns get put in dog crap is symbolic, like I said, because it describes SmackDown Live and all the problems that this show has. Alright? But still, it is what it is at the end of the day. But, other than that, I didn't watch the match. Alright? I really didn't watch the match. I didn't care. But, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not going to watch Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin at TLC. I'll probably just watch the highlights and then talk about it on the podcast. But, still, Roman having the dog crap poured over him, it was funny it was kind of disgusting. I felt a little bit bad for Roman, and like I said, that's the way Roman should be booked. All right, you want Roman to get organic reactions. I'll say this: WWE has like done a decent job. They've done a decent job with Roman Reigns since he came back from injury. All right, he's only had like one title match, that match against Shinsuke Nakamura. You know, in his promos, he doesn't talk too long. You know, he gets right to the point. It's like he has bullet points. He knows what he has to say, and he says it, and then he's done. His matches, Roman's had pretty good matches. All right, if you look at his matches on SmackDown Live, matches against what was it? I think Luke Harper, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler. He's had good matches. He's been consistently a good performer. I'd probably say a more consistent finisher than Seth Rollins has been on Monday Night Raw. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. But Roman Reigns has had pretty good matches on SmackDown. You know, and he's doing everything right, really. It's just the Roman agenda. And I feel like it's really going to hit us once Royal Rumble season starts. Because I'm telling you right now, I would be very surprised if Roman Reigns doesn't win the Royal Rumble. I'm hoping he doesn't. I'm hoping they give it to Kevin Owens. Because I wanted us to get Kevin Owens versus Lesnar at Mania for the WWE Championship. But because I think Kevin Owens should be built as the biggest babyface in the company for the men. And they should build Sasha Banks as the biggest female babyface in the women's division for her match against Bayley at Mania. And that's the route they're going for, which I think they are. But, you know, they're doing everything right with Roman. And then having him beat up by heels and then humiliated like that, you know, that's going to make the fans sympathize with Roman. And that's going to make people want to see Roman get his payback on Corbin. I actually felt bad for Roman, man, getting all that dog food. It wasn't like 1 can or 2 cans. It's like 6 or 7 cans of dog food put all over him. It was in his hair, you know, got in his vest, like all over his arms. Like, it looked pretty bad. All right, but either way, it is what it is. Reigns is probably going to get his payback on Corbin at TLC. We'll see next week where they go. I don't know why they love this storyline. I'm not enjoying the storyline between Reigns and Corbin, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, the dog food incident tonight was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, but overall, SmackDown Live was pretty boring. Pretty boring outside of Sasha, of course, outside of the Fiend and the Miz and the dog food incident. SmackDown was pretty boring. We're building towards TLC. Next week we have the TLC Go Home show. So we'll see if WWE can make us care. Because I'm not that hyped for TLC right now. I'm really not. Other than really the Becky and Charlotte against the Kubaki Warriors TLC match that will probably get announced on Monday. I'm not that interested for TLC. But I am interested about the Miz and the Bray Wyatt situation. And we'll see how Daniel Bryan factors into that. Other than that, I'm not that excited for TLC, but we'll see. We have 1 week to go, we'll see. Other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, enable notifications by clicking the bell right next to my name, Fitzmo TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description down below. Glad to be back, guys. You know, gonna keep you guys updated all the time. If any major WWE news comes out, you guys know I got you. I'll be back here on Monday with your Monday Night Raw review, and then next Sunday, TLC review, TLC predictions, all that good stuff. So as always, guys, thank you guys for all the love and support. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, guys. Peace.